board meeting of our board. If you have not done so, please mute your phone. Anyone who does not mute their phone may be muted by the call moderator or asked to leave the meeting. Finally, if you are not a board member or the CEO and her staff and you are joining us virtually, please turn your video off. I will now read a roll call of the board to identify who is present. Vice Chair Roberts.
Present.
Commissioner Coy.
Present.
Commissioner Esposito. Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson.
Present.
Commissioner Muhammad.
Present.
Commissioner Reed. Commissioner Sally. Commissioner Slater Harrington.
Present.
And I am present. Is there a motion to reopen the meeting?
So moved. Kenyatta Bay.
Thank you, Commissioner Bay. Is there a second?
Second, Roberts.
Thank you, Vice Chair Roberts. All in favor, Vice Chair Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Coy,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay,
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson,
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
Commissioner Slater Harrington,
Yes.
and I am in favor. That motion passes with 7 present and 3 absent. We will now have the presentation of colors by the Reach Partnership High School. Please stand. Thank you all. You please be seated. We have from Edmondson Westside High School, Cadet. It's always here. Now, I know what school this is. I'm just on autopilot. From the Reach Partnership School, Cadet Commander, First Lieutenant Evelyn Anzures. Is that close? Did I get it correct? Okay. Cadet Corporal Elizabeth Gonzalez. Nice. Cadet Private First Class Miguel Tapia. Cadet Second Lieutenant Forrest Spriggs. And Cadet Corporal Justin Crowder. Can we give these wonderful cadets another round of applause? Thank you all. And thank you for always being ready to support our meetings. Thank you all. We also had some students from Leith Walk Elementary Middle School with their director, Miss Beatrice Greiner. They were with us prior to the meeting. We're going to have to make sure they're here a little later, our performing group, so that we have some time to see them and be a good audience for them as well. But those students were there are several students from Leith Walk Elementary Middle School that performed tonight. So can we give them a round of applause as well? I will now turn it over to our newly elected Commissioner Jameer Lawson for tonight's moment of silence.
I would like to take the time to recognize the passing of a city schools employee. This individual was committed to supporting our students throughout their work. The Greater City Schools community will fondly remember the employee. Tonight, we send our deepest condolences to the employee's family and friends. Tyler Marine started their career with City Schools June 26, 2023, where he served the staff and students for 3 months, as custodian worker 1 month at district office. Mr. Marine unfortunately departed October 17th, 2023, and will be missed by his family, friends, and the City Schools community.
Thank you. Please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the prior open session minutes?
So moved, Roberts.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay. All in favor, Vice Chair Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Coy?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Muhammad?
Yes.
Commissioner Slater Harrington?
Yes.
I think it's a yes.
Thank you. Did I miss someone?
I second it.
Vice Chair Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Coy? You said me. Commissioner Kenyatta Bay?
Yep.
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Muhammad?
Yes.
Commissioner Slater Harrington?
Yes.
Thank you, and I'm in favor. That is 7 in favor with 3 absent. That motion passes. Is there a motion to approve the closed session summaries?
So moved, Roberts.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Is there a second?
Second, Kenyatta Bay.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay. All in favor, Vice Chair Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Coy?
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay? Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Commissioner Muhammad?
Yes.
Commissioner Slater Harrington?
Yes.
Thank you, and I'm in favor. That motion passes with 7 in favor and 3 absent. Thank you. We want to welcome everyone here as we are celebrating National Native American Heritage Month. That is a month that we are celebrating and commemorating this month. It is November 14th, and we're glad that folks are here tonight. We have some students here who we're going to celebrate and honor this evening, so we're really excited about that tonight. But next Wednesday through Friday, schools and the district office will be closed to recognize the Thanksgiving holiday and several other holidays. We hope that you all enjoy some well-deserved time off with your loved ones during the holiday break. The holiday season is a time for joy and reflection and togetherness. It also can be a tough time for several of our students, families, and other community members. So please, in this season of giving, in this season of celebration, keep in mind those who may not be as excited or in a celebratory mood, just given how life lifes. But to pause and appreciate little things in life and to embrace the spirit of giving and gratitude, let's take some intentional time over the next few days. From the board to you all, happy holidays. Tonight, we want to focus most of our time, at least mine as chair during my comments, on several of our exceptional City Schools students. Can we just give a round of applause to all of our young people in Baltimore City Schools? Thank you for that standing ovation back there. They deserve the love, they deserve the support, and they deserve the applause. October 30th through November 2nd, City Schools held the first citywide election for the new student commissioner, the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners, and the Associated Student Congress for Baltimore City, ASCBC, their officers. Over 2,000 students, grades 6 through 12, took power in their own hands and voted for the student commissioner and other elected members who would best advocate for their educational needs and their well-being. I'd like to formally announce the winning candidates, or the winners, who are now the officers and the newly elected student commissioner to the Board of School Commissioners. If you're here tonight in person, please stand and remain standing until all names are called. And if you're with us virtually, please come on camera so that we can see and recognize you as well. But please stay muted until you're prompted to unmute. Our new student commissioner is Jameer Lawson. Who happens to be a student at the Baltimore School for the Arts. He plays both saxophone and piano. We learned that tonight. We have Brooke Bourne, who is the newly elected president of ASCBC. Brooke, are you with us? We'll still give Brooke a round of applause. Jameer, you're getting some congrats in the chat virtually. We have, and for Brooke, and in person, that's right. Our new ASCBC vice president is Christiana Diggs. Christiana, tell us what school you attend. She goes to the Western High School.
Western High School.
Only the best, right? Okay. Yeah. Our middle school executive for ASCBC is Laura Lopez Ochichale. Are you with us, Laura? We're giving you that applause either way. The new treasurer of ASCBC is Shamir Berg. Shamir, are you with us? Congratulations, Shamir. Our new diversity committee chair is Jayzane Blessed. Jayzane, are you with us? Congratulations. Jayzane, I think I know what school you attend, but what school do you attend? She attends Patterson High School. Look at that. And again, our student commissioner, Jameer Lawson. Thank you all. Let's give all of these newly elected members a round of applause. Thank you. And this moment is historic because for this is the first time that students throughout Baltimore City schools have been able to elect their leaders en masse in the way that they have. Prior to this moment, there's been a select group of students, generally from the same schools, that have elected students to lead. And now we have more representation. It is a more inclusive process. And so we're really excited to make sure that the voices of our young people are elevated in a way that they are able to select their advocates and their leaders. So thank you all for committing to serve. We've got a few months. And thank you to our students who participated in that election process. Congratulations. I will now turn it over to our student commissioner for any words that you want to give to the board and to the members who are present.
Thank you, Chair McFadden. As you said, my name is Jameer Lawson. I'm a student at Baltimore School for the Arts. I'm studying music. And it's really a pleasure to hold this position. I don't take it lightly. As I was telling my now new colleagues upstairs, I really took this position because I noticed a lot of students weren't engaging as much as I would hope to see them engage. And taking on this role, I hope to engage more students in the board and how the board votes. And I thank you guys for voting for me. I won't let you down, and thank you, Chair, for allowing me a chance to speak.
Absolutely. We're very happy to have you. Finally, tonight, I want to honor this month's Baltimore City Public Schools Scholar Superstars. Let's make some noise. These incredible young people who have joined us tonight. I met one of the scholars in the hallway, but tonight we're going to celebrate and honor both of these young people who are making strides within their individual school communities. So last month, we honored two extraordinary students, Darius Jones and Maya Tapia. You can learn more about them on the City Schools website. This month, we have two new students who we're going to celebrate from two different city schools. Our first winner is Darcellum Lugaman. Is Darcella with us? Did I pronounce your name correctly? Say that again. And actually, come on up, because you're the spotlight. You're in the spotlight tonight. So once you can have a seat right there and just press that green button so we can hear your voice. Pronounce your name for us again.
Is Darcellum Lugman.
Lugman, nice to meet you again.
Nice to
And
meet you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
This scholar is an 8th grader at Vanguard Collegiate Middle School in East Baltimore. Since her enrollment in the ESOL Newcomer Program, our scholar has displayed remarkable growth. She has a genuine passion for helping and motivating others, and even uses her advisory class time to assist fellow students in their English language journey. Her leadership, teamwork, advocacy, and notable achievements make her an exceptional scholar superstar. To learn more about this scholar and personally congratulate her for her accomplishments, the communications office visited her at Vanguard to capture this amazing video. Let's take a look. Are we able to get more sound? We actually don't hear anything on the screens.
I feel really good about being this month's Scholar Superstar because I feel like I deserve it. I'm from history class, really interested because I like learning about how people used to live in the past and how life used to be. Miss Yori, she's my ESOL teacher. She's really supportive and she like keeps supporting me since I was
I want to make sure you hear it, so there's that echo. I think it may be because it's playing in the room and it's playing virtually. So can we pause it? I want us to start it over so that we can hear this tonight. So maybe playing it in the room, you all are, no, you may have to step out into the hall so we can hear it.
Because it's picking up.
One second. So Lashana needs to unmute now. Can someone ask her to unmute and start it over? think you all can hear it virtually. We can't hear it in the space. We're just working through that. I see the applause. Thank you all for your patience.
Chair McFadden, this is Commissioner Sally. We don't hear it in the virtual space either.
Can we get a little more volume in this space? Thank you. So we're going to invite your I know you have some family members with you. We're going to invite them up as well. And if there are any members from the Vanguard Collegiate family, can you all come and join our scholar at the table? Here we go. Look at the village. I knew it were folks here. So it is Jerusalem. Okay, tell us a little bit about yourself and what are you interested in doing for a career, like once you finish school, and where are you thinking about high school because the choice fair is coming up?
I'm most interested going to.
And can you pull that mic a little closer so we can hear you?
All right. I'm interested at going to Poly or Western or City. That's the schools I'm interested about. And also, I want to grow up. I want to become a doctor because I love helping people.
Nice. We can tell that you really like helping others. So that's a very, very, very strong attribute to possess. So thank you. So listen up. Is there any member from the team that also, does your family want to say anything or any member from the Vanguard team? Are you sure? Okay. Mom, you just pull the mic close to you so we can hear you.
She said she's proud of me.
Say that again.
She said she's proud of me.
Proud, absolutely. We're all proud. Yes, ma'am. And it takes a lot of courage to learn and thrive, right? As a multilingual learner, it's actually a gift that a lot of folks don't have, to be able to speak multiple languages and to be able to bring your culture, marry the culture, and for all of us.
With Fox?
Yeah.
All together. There's someone who's not muted. Someone who's not muted. So thank you. We're going to invite you, your family up. We're going to get a photo, and we actually have an award that we want to present to you. Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Board commissioners, can you join us? Our next winner is Austin Ndongo. Did I pronounce your last name correctly? Say that again. Dongo. I want to get them correct. So you got to tell me your name. Pronounce your name for us.
It's Austin Dongo.
Okay. All right. Austin. May I call you Austin?
Yeah.
Okay. Is a 10th grader at Augusta Fells Savage Institute of Visual Arts in West Baltimore. Austin is an incredible student. His 4.0 GPA and excellent attendance, 4.75. I just got all that's the weighted GPA. All right. And excellent attendance are just a few ways that Austin exemplifies school pride. In the classroom, Austin leads with grace, using his passion for science and math to tutor his peers. To learn more about Austin and personally congratulate him for this accomplishment, the communications office visited Augusta Fells to capture this amazing video.
I'm Austin Ndongo. I'm in the 10th grade at Augusta Fells Savage, and I'm the November 2023 Scholar Superstar. It feels nice to be rewarded for my work. I've always liked math because I like finding the solutions to equations. I want to go to college to study chemical engineering to help engineer different types of medicine that will help other people to get easy access to life-saving medicine. Yeah, my father, he's always been there for me. He always checks on my assignments and my grades, and he helps me do my homework sometimes. Quiet, fun, and awesome. I love helping other students find their way in school, like help them in the various assignments that we have. So if they are stuck in one area, I can help them understand it more. I was always taught by my father to help others the best way I can. Miss Wilson. She's like a mother figure to me because she's always there for me when I have a question or problem. This is my eco column. We had to simulate the various factors that can influence the population size of an ecosystem. It can help us understand what's going on in the real world and how we can solve problems that are actively going on. This is the aquatic layer, that's the decomposing layer, and this is the filter layer. This has to be self-sustainable, and the resources need to be recycled within the ecosystem. Thank you, Ms. Wilson, for nominating me for the award. I appreciate it.
It's the joy for me, right? It's the joy for me that it exudes from you as you talk about being a leader, because that's what you talk about, right? When you talk about you enjoy solving complex equations, we need folks like you to help solve those tough challenges that exist in our world that a lot of people complain about, right? People just complain about things that go wrong versus figuring out a solution to make things work, right? And so we're very proud of you. We're going to invite your family up. I'm not going to mispronounce your last name, I promise, so you'll be Austin. And if you all want to do that, because names are important, and I'm going to invite your school team up. Principal Carnes, I see you. Just come on up. Come on up, family. You all can come on up just closer. School team, we've got posters and everything up to celebrate Austin. And that's what it's all about. And so talk to us a little bit more about what you're planning on doing, Austin, and then we're going to turn it over to your family and your principal to share just a few more words, okay? So you're in the 10th grade.
Yes.
Yes. So you have a couple of more years. So where are you thinking about college? Or workforce, or trade school, or military. When you finish, the principal says college, but when you finish school, right, we want to make sure you have a plan and that you're prepared to do whatever you choose. But college, it sounds like that's the plan.
Yeah.
It's the plan. All right, talk to us about it.
I have a few colleges in mind, but I want to study chemical engineering.
Nice. Chemical engineering. Nice. We're going to turn it over to your family, who we haven't heard from. Do you all want to share anything about Austin?
Yes.
Please, just pick up that mic.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Austin is my grandson. He has been here just for 2 years from when he came from Kenya. So when he was coming, I was like, how is he gonna be here? This is a foreign country, but I'm so proud because like everybody loves him. Like everybody loves Lemon. So I'm so proud of him, and I'm so proud of his teachers because they welcomed him. Even the fellow students, like they like him. Even they have given him a nickname which I didn't know until 2 weeks ago. They call him Babu, which means a wise man. Babu is grandfather in Swahili. They Googled and found that a grandfather should be a wise man, like Austin. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to say we're so proud of you, Austin. So proud of your teachers. And we just came to the country and we already feel so welcome by everybody. And we love it here.
Come on, Principal Carnes, dry up the tears. What makes Austin so special? And let's really think about your school community, right? Like what's happening in your school community to be able to highlight an amazing scholar like this tonight, Principal Carnes.
So this is really an honor for our school and our school staff and city schools. When Austin came to us, his grandmother came to me in the summer. I need more for Austin. And I said, just give us a chance. We're going to give him more. And they came, I think, September, you came and you were like, he's going to go to Douglas. I'm like, so, we had to kind of reconvince Dad why he needed to stay at Augusta Fells. We created new AP classes so that Austin can thrive, right? We have an awesome career in college readiness coach. They just went to the Eastern Shore today. He was going to go today, but he didn't really want to miss this wonderful opportunity for his family to be present. And they gave us a chance, and like Austin is just a great, great kid. Like we couldn't be more prouder as a school family, really. Like we've worked so hard the last couple of years to reconstruct the narrative, and like tonight, this is it.
That's awesome. Well, again, I'm going to invite the village up to take some photos along with the Board of School Commissioners. And Austin, we've got something for you too. Thank you, and congratulations again to our young people. This is the joy that we like experiencing. So thank you, young people, for all of your work and for your leadership. The board acknowledges a non-monetary donation valued at $5,100 from Ascension St. Agnes Hospital for 60,000 plastic aprons for food services staff. Is there a motion to approve the PEP and quasi-judicial matters?
So moved, Robert.
So
Thank you,
moved.
Vice Chair. Is there a second?
Second, Kenyatta Bay.
Second.
Thank you. I'm going to take, I heard you, Commissioner Seda Harrington, and I actually heard you the first time. So Commissioner Bay, I'm going to take Commissioner Seda Harrington for that second. All in favor, Vice Chair Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay,
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson,
Yes.
it's not something you can vote on, Commissioner Lawson, so I'm going to go back and do that again. All in favor, Vice Chair Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Coy,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay,
Yes.
Commissioner Muhammad,
Yes.
Commissioner Sally,
Yes.
Commissioner Slater Harrington,
Yes.
and I'm in favor. That motion passes with 7 in favor and 2 absent. We'll now turn it over to Dr. Santelises for CEO comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It is now my pleasure to invite Chief Emily Nielsen for this evening's PEP agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Santelises. Good evening, commissioners. If you are on the PEP report tonight, if you could stand or turn on your camera for acknowledgement when I read your name. On our PEP tonight, from the Office of the Chief Academic Officer, an appointment recommended that Eugene Chongqi, currently Secondary Transition Lead at Maryland State Department of Education, be appointed Educational Specialist 2, Transition Special Populations, effective November 27th, 2023. and from the Office of the Chief of Schools, an appointment. Recommended that Eric Banzak, currently Assistant Principal at Washington County Public School System, be appointed Director, School Culture and Climate, effective December 4th, 2023. Recommended that Sherman Barksdale, currently Coach, Student Wholeness and School Climate, be appointed Coordinator, Student Wholeness, effective November 15th, 2023. And recommended that Deborah Price, currently Teacher Elementary at George Washington Elementary, be appointed Assistant Principal at Abbottson Elementary, effective November 15th, 2023. Congratulations, everyone, on tonight's PEP.
Congratulations, everyone, and thank you, Chief Nielsen. One thing I think that is important for everyone to know is that part of the reason that I dashed in late this evening is I had the pleasure, along with our Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Joan Dabrowski, to be part of an invitational meeting by the Gates Foundation in Washington, D.C. around mathematics achievement. And I am pleased to report that some of the early efforts that we have engaged in as a district, namely our, teacher leadership groups in mathematics, focusing on grades 3 through 5, are actually seeing some early results. And so Baltimore City had the chance to be part of that meeting and to have our continued work in this area highlighted. I think it's also a testament to the work that we've done with teacher leadership groups in secondary literacy. And what we are hoping is that we'll be able to scale that up across the coming years. And I just want to thank Chief Dabrowski for being able to stay at that meeting so that I could be with you all tonight. Also, I would like to recognize the significant progress that Baltimore City Public School students have made in successful participation in advanced placement courses. Last school year, our students completed more than 5,000 AP courses. That's nearly a 10% increase from the previous year, and 70% of those students earned either an A or B in the course. Last year, 90% of students enrolled in AP courses took AP exams, which is a 27% increase over the school year 1920, pre-COVID. And significantly, last year, students of color comprised 82% of all of our advanced placement students in Baltimore City. African American student participation increased by 30% since 1920, and the number of Hispanic Latino students increased by 130% in that same period. Advanced placement courses really form a critical part of our college readiness strategy. We have had dramatic increases in student participation, particularly among our students of color, and it really reflects the improved culture in our high schools, where students feel more empowered and more comfortable in taking AP courses and sitting for those exams. I want to give a hearty congratulations to every Baltimore City public school student who's participated, and give a special thanks to Dennis Jutras and his team, as well as the leadership at the 33 schools offering AP courses last year. Baltimore City was noted by the Council of Great City Schools as being one of the top 8 urban school districts in the country to actually increase our advanced placement participation. So I want to thank everybody, particularly the young people who took on the challenge, families that supported them, and most importantly, our teachers and administrators who provided the opportunity for these young people. Next week, we will recognize some of our school police in terms of some of the work that they have been doing this year, but we're going to wait, Sir Chair, to make sure that they are present for that recognition. So that ends my comments for this evening. Yes, and so I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Santelises. We'll now review the consent agenda. Board colleagues, please let me know if you would like an item removed, and please state your question for staff. I am pulling item 20.02, Community School Supports, PD and OST, for a vote. Item 9.01, Cub Contract Agreement. Item 9.02, Baltimore City Department of Recreation and Parks Agreement. 9.03. 9.03, IHBJ Charter and Operator-Led Schools, second reader. 12.01, Smart Start Education, LLC. 12.02, Root Branch Media Group. 12.03, Private Duty and Schools Health Nursing Services. 12.04, Alvarez and Marshall Public Sector, LLC.
Chair McFadden, this is Commissioner Sy. I'd like to pull 12.04 for vote.
Thank you. 12.04 will also be pulled for a vote. 12.05, Heineman, Do the Math. 20.01, Posset. Thank you. So I want to go back. We have some students who have joined us that we recognized earlier, and I don't think they were present with us, but they have now arrived, new members to the ASCBC board. So I believe it is Brooke. Is Brooke here? Stand for us, Brooke. Brooke is the newly elected president of ASCBC. Welcome to the team. Looks like you also attend, I'm not sure what school that is when you're, what school? Oh, it's Western.
The Western High School.
I got you. It is the oldest, correct? Public school for young women, correct?
In the United
States of America. And it's still running. It's still going. So congratulations. And I know she's there too. A little known fact, when I was in high school, I actually was elected and served in a position similar to yours in Prince George's County. So I know that this is a lot for you to do, but thank you for being willing to serve in this capacity and representing almost 80,000 young people every day. So thank you for your commitment to serve. And I believe we also have Laura Lopez Ochichale. Is Laura here? Hello, Laura. She's in the back, so if everyone can just take a look, we want to see exactly who you are. Congratulations. She is our middle school representative on the Associated Student Congress of Baltimore City. Xochicale. So that X is a Xochi. Xochicale. All right, I've got it. Congratulations, Laura, on your election. And thank you. Commodore John Rogers. All right, congratulations. See, there's more representation from multiple schools throughout our district. So shout out to our young people. We'll now move to public comment. Speakers from recognized groups will have the opportunity to speak for 5 minutes. First, we have Nathan Farrell representing the Baltimore Teachers Union.
Hello. Good evening, Nathan Farrell providing comments on behalf of the BTU. On Wednesday, October 25th, City schools decertified the BPP SLP, which is our current career pathway or AU system for teacher chapter members. City schools leadership did this before making a commitment to teacher pay for the current school year, before offering BTU any proposed contract language on career ladders, before the state has offered promised guidance on career ladders, and before any Maryland school system has finalized next year's pay structures. The district's haste in decertifying the BPP SLP is reckless and poorly planned. BTU has not received any formal compensation proposal or specific contract languages for the new career ladder for 24-25, and no Maryland union or district is close to finalizing negotiations on career ladders. The AIB acknowledged that more guidance and support is needed this school year and is yet to be developed. In the wake of decertification, the district is unwilling to make commitments to ease teachers' concerns around AU processing this year. Teachers are not even guaranteed that they will earn increases for this year's evaluation. The vague plans shared by the district includes no considerations for our related service providers, vocational teachers, or other non-traditional teacher roles. The district's new career ladder ideas rely on stipends, not base salary. Stipends are not pensionable. Educators will not vote for a contract that relies on stipends. We are not gig workers. The benefits of AUs is that they led to pensionable pay increases. Stipends are not reliable or pensionable. Our current pay system leaves us with less pension compensation than elsewhere in Maryland, and the district's career ladder exacerbates this reality. In local media, Dr. S alluded to a new pathway where educators get compensated in real time, and that we'd see that money a lot sooner than we do now. City schools lacks credibility when it comes to real-time payments. Our earned salaries arrive months late. Payment for after-school work is routinely delayed without explanation. We constantly have to fight the district just to get paid our earned wages. Chief Perkins Cohen said that their plan allows educators the opportunity to move up, remain in their schools, but perform leadership roles. The district has not offered any guarantees or details on leadership positions in the new system. A decade ago, the district promised that there'd be a lead teacher at every school. This never happened. We typically have only 20 to 25 total lead teachers in any given year across the entire district. The district mishandled the blueprint literacy coach positions and their pay. And now educators view the literacy coach role with hesitance, and in many cases, they're advising colleagues don't take literacy coach positions. Opportunity culture, once lauded by this board and by district leadership, has failed to be adequately supported by city schools. They haven't added new opportunity culture positions in 2 years. There's no evidence to back up the claim about leadership opportunities. City schools refuses to agree to basic commitments that are the norm in other school systems. They won't even commit to pay us on time. One non-starter from the district's vague career ladder is the idea, well, it's a threat, that over 600 current model and lead teachers could lose tens of thousands of dollars in annual salary. The district plan as it stands offers that there are 3 years during which we will not earn any increases, the model and lead teachers, for all 600 plus of those teachers to attain national boards or apply and receive a leadership role, which again is not proposed or guaranteed, or else our pay reverts back to professional pathway. That's a pay cut of $10,000 to $20,000 per year, our salary. Educators won't vote yes on that. The district has said that our current system is unaffordable. That's not the case. Currently, only around year 7 to 15 or so is where our teacher compensation is competitive with other Maryland districts' pay. For folks at the beginning of their careers, and devastatingly so for our veteran educators, we lag far behind other districts in Maryland in terms of compensation. Dr. S has 3 years of salary determined pension payments for their life, and they're looking at $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 raises in nearby districts. City schools educators are looking at other districts for employment for next year. The decertification has led to mid-year chaos and confusion. The district has not agreed to pay raises for this year. They have not agreed to a salary structure for next year, and they won't even agree to pay us on time. The BT looks forward to discussing with this board how we can hopefully prevent a mass exodus of educators at the end of this school year. And we really, really hope to hear from you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Sheila Billups, the president of the Special Education Citizens Advisory Committee, CCAC. Good evening, Ms. Billups.
Good evening. Caught me off guard. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I had the opportunity to go to Hazelwood's Girl Power, session on a Saturday. I was so impressed about the work that their school is doing. I went with Miss Demery, but it was called Girl Power, and they did a wonderful pledge, and we all had to get up there 2 or 3 times to make sure we had it. So it was a STEM program, and they're trying to encourage young ladies to be a part of the STEM, and the young gentlemen that were there was helping solidify, make sure everything was done the way it was done. So I was so thankful to be invited. Been out in the community a lot, but I just want to thank William S. Bayer School for allowing us to house our CCAT meetings for the last year and a half. I am so thankful to them, and their staff stayed late after school to make sure I had the technology that I needed in order to have the Zoom as well as the in-person meeting. Our last meeting was last night. It was wonderful turnout. Good information was given out, and the parents as well as the staff was pleased. So I just want to allow people to know that we are still taking applications and looking for members to join CCAT. We're closing at the end of the year, June 2024. The executive position will end for that staff that's there now. So I'm looking for others to join and be a part of that. Also, our next meeting will be here, December the 11th. That meeting will be Julia DeBusolo from Arts Every Day will be doing a presentation. She is also committed to do the winter expression. So we want the participants to come in to this meeting right here, December 11th in this room, and let us do something going into the new year, a positive outlook. Also, we have Miss Michelle Grant Thornton for a support specialist from the Partners of Success. She has great information to support our parents in their decision making with their children that's receiving IEP or the 504. That's it for now. Everyone have a great holiday.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Next, we have Deborah Demery, the president of the PTA Council of Baltimore City. Good evening, Ms. Demery.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Blessed, thank you.
Usually at Hazelwood, Miss Phillips said we were at Hazelwood, and I had to follow the cheerleaders, and everybody was looking at me to do a split. That's not going to happen tonight. Thank you very much for that. So, good evening, everyone. So usually when we talk about PTA, everybody knows that P stands for parents and families in the community. But tonight I want to talk about that T, which stands for the teachers. And we've seen some dedicated scholars come here. We've seen some outstanding young people. As a matter of fact, that's how I was invited to go to Hazelwood, because I was here when the first Scholar of the Month was awarded. And they invited me to come to Hazelwood. But you have to look and see what helps those scholars. It's the dedicated teachers and staff that surround them on a daily basis. Because as parents, we can't be there every day, all day. So I just want to highlight some of the teachers that, you know, and the work that they do. I heard the BTU and passionate they were, and I understand that after going to Hazelwood and seeing how hard they work. And this was a Saturday. So I was invited to be one of the motivational speakers at Hazelwood Elementary Middle School Girls STEM Power Workshop on Saturday, October the 28th. They are not a PTA school yet, but I'm working on it. So at 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning, I was amazed. If you build it, they will come. The girls came, and the boys who already have a STEM Power group came to support them and mentor them. But most important was the teachers and staff who came to ensure all students had a great learning experience. Shout out to Principal Rice, Vice Principal Rowe, and one of those dedicated teachers, Ms. Cherry Amata. Not only was Ms. Amata organizing on Saturday morning, but she worked late Friday night with the students to ensure things were in place for that Saturday morning. So when you speak to Ms. Amata, you see the passion she has for teaching. She loves those students and they love her. She wants them to succeed not only locally, but globally. She sent me an email yesterday stating she was trying to raise money for solar car kits through a site called Donors Choose, which I had never heard of. So I went on and I looked at the site, and I found that there were a lot of teachers from different schools all over Baltimore City asking for a number of items such as microscopes and the smallest thing, like a comfortable, clean rug for the classroom. So we have so many teachers that share that same passion for teaching and love for our students. It's time we give our teachers, paraprofessionals, and school-related staff the respect, support, and recognition they deserve. They deserve safe working environments. They deserve to be compensated accordingly. When families, I'm going to say this to the families now, when you see a teacher, ask what you can do for them. It's not always about volunteering in a classroom, in the school. It's those little things that make a difference. Sometimes a teacher wants you to just ask, what can I do for you? And that makes a big difference. So we should appreciate our teachers every day, not just 1 week in May when Teacher Appreciation Week is. It's only for 1 week, but our teachers work hard every day. Our kids love coming to school because of the teachers and the staff and the professionals that they encounter in that day. So let's give our teachers a round of applause. Thank you. But they truly deserve it. And I'm done. Everybody have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you very much. Now I'll turn it over to Dr. Judkins, our Board Executive Officer, for public comment.
Thank you, Chair. We have 2 public comments. The first is from Pamela Hart from Digital Harbor High School, and this is a video.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Pamela Hart, and I'm a resource specialist at Digital Harbor High School and a proud member of Local 44. I have been working with the city schools for over 35 years. I share my concerns on behalf of the Public Outreach and Community Relations Committee, which has members from both BTU and Local 44. First, I would like to thank the district for coordinating the upcoming Secretary Academy with the BTU. Although I'm a resource specialist, we use the same systems. I am grateful to the administration team here at Digital Harbor High School for supporting me so I can attend. When professional developments like the Secretary Academies, staff have the opportunity to grow and learn. This also helps benefit our students and communities. I continue to be concerned about the lack of training for resource specialists, hall monitors, wholeness specialists, and those who work directly with children. Board policy ADF is coming under review. The policy about student support services, it states the Office of Wholeness Child Services and Support will provide trauma-informed care workshops and an ongoing training to appropriate city school staffs to ensure that the principle of trauma-informed care are implemented throughout the district. My question is, can the board identify the exact trauma-informed care workshops and ongoing training, as well as principles of trauma-informed care that are being implemented per policy ADF? Who is getting this training? I know the staff here at Digital Harbor would greatly benefit from this type of training, as would my fellow hall monitors and other members of Local 44. I hope that the board will reach out to the Public Relations Community Outreach Committee, as we have yet to receive any communications from the board about our request last month for you all to meet with us. In closing, I would like to thank you all for the opportunity to speak again.
Thank you. Our second public comment is Corey Witherspoon, who is here live in person. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. That is all that we have then.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. Based on public comments, are there any additional items any board members would like to pull from the consent agenda? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of item 12.04 and item 20.02? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Vice Chair Roberts. Is there a second? Commissioner Slater Harrington, were you seconding that motion?
Yes.
Thank you. All those in favor, Vice Chair Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Coy,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay,
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson,
Yes.
Commissioner Muhammad,
Yes.
Commissioner Sally,
Yes.
Commissioner Slater Harrington,
Yes.
and I'm in favor. That motion passes with 8 in favor and 2 absent. Is there a motion to approve item 12.04?
So moved, Robert.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Is there a second? I second the motion. All in favor? Vice Chair Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Coy,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay,
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson,
Yes.
Commissioner Muhammad,
Yes.
Commissioner Sally,
I abstain.
Commissioner Slater Harrington,
Yes. Yes.
and I'm in favor. That motion passes with 7 in favor, 1 abstention, and 2 absent. Is there a motion to approve item 20.02?
So moved, Robert.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Is there a second?
Second, Mohammed.
Thank you, Commissioner Muhammad. All in favor, Vice Chair Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Coy,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay,
Abstain.
Commissioner Lawson,
Yes.
Commissioner Muhammad,
Yes.
Commissioner Sally,
Yes.
Commissioner Slater Harrington,
I recuse myself.
and I am in favor. That motion does not pass with 6 in favor, 1 abstention, and 1 recusal, with 2 absent. We will now hear a presentation on the annual review of schools, 23-24 recommendations. This is item 10.01.
That's what they do. It's 2022, didn't go. How is it? How is it? I would check that. Exactly.
All right, logistics. Good evening, I'm Angela Alvarez. I'm the Senior Executive Director of the Office of New Initiatives. And we're gonna have different people come up at different times. There's gonna be a little bit of musical chairs. And so we'll make sure we introduce folks as we do that.
Good evening, I'm Lindsay Anderson. I'm a specialist in the Office of New Initiatives.
All right, and so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Go to the next slide. The set of recommendations and context setting that we're going to set tonight aligns to board priorities 3 through 7, ensuring that our students and our staff are in high quality modernized facilities with resources that support success, effectively engaging stakeholders. Stakeholders are key to these recommendations we're about to share, including our parents, families, caregivers, and our students, in providing equal access to district services, resources and facilities to our students and community, increasing the number of educational programming of all types that guarantee a high quality education, including charters, and continuously through this process and all the way through thinking through an equity lens and implementing in a way that is inclusive of all of our stakeholders. Next slide. So first, in terms of context, 10 years ago, we released a plan with a bold vision, which was to renovate all of our school buildings. That was the vision at that time. It was called the 10-year plan and became known as the 21st Century School Buildings Plan. And all that we do as leaders, we're trying to push resources to our students. Our students deserve to be in resources that really reflect and honor who they are. And often we have not been able to do that because of limited funds. And so we're nearing the end of that plan, and we're continuing to advocate for our students every day. Next slide. When we began that plan, we knew we were going to have to make difficult decisions as school communities in order to meet some of the requirements of that plan. And so we focused, this is before we even had an equity policy, on pushing investments into communities where we knew we were going to have to close and combine schools first, and communities that had less public resources than other parts of our district. And we've fulfilled that. Like 65% of our new 21st century buildings are located in communities that have had severe disinvestment, as denoted by our community conditions index. And in communities where often our school building is the only public investment, the only commitment, and is a visual commitment to our students and families across the district.
And so last school year in 2022-23, we opened 2 new 21st century buildings. This makes 26 of the planned 29 school buildings that have been renovated with 21st century funds. Next slide.
How many was that again?
26.
I just
26 of the 29.
I just wanted to hear it, that's all.
That's right. Montebello was one of those that opened last year. Montebello is a pre-K through 8 school in Northeast Baltimore. Next slide. Highlandtown Elementary Middle School also opened last January. They serve students in grades pre-K through 8 in Southeast Baltimore. Next slide. Cross Country Elementary Middle School will open this January 2024. This will make 27 of the planned 29 school buildings open under the 21st Century Plan. So we'd have 2 left, and those are Frederick Douglass High School and Commodore John Rogers Elementary Middle School.
And we've continued to advocate, and so we knew there was another pot of funds coming our way, and as a result of that, we developed, and this board approved, the high school plan, and we decided to focus on high schools with this additional pot of funds for several reasons, including the disparity in the amount of capital funds we receive each year from the state. Is such that with our regular capital funds, we're less able to deal with the multiple needs of our high school buildings. We receive $29 million in capital funds each year from the state. And so, for example, just to do systemics in Baltimore City College, meaning just fixing the roof, the HVAC, the windows, the doors, those kind of projects, not fixing the labs, not fixing the gymnasium, not fixing other spaces that are important to students and families, will cost $44 million, or more than our entire capital budget from the state. And so in January 2020, we released the high school plan to this board, who approved it. And then the next year, the state passed the plan after override of the then governor. Again, we focused on high schools. One, they're bigger, and so they're serving many more students. And so it would help us make sure more of our students were getting access to these resources. It would increase our ability to make sure that those high school programs could meet the college and career readiness standards of our students. And because our high schools are citywide, they're benefiting students who come from multiple neighborhoods or communities. And then again, that disinvestment, the disparity in terms of funds, and that we're more able to meet the needs of our elementary, middle school facilities through our regular funds, and needing to do something different. And so the schools that we focused on, and at least one of them was talked about a lot tonight, are some of our most historic schools in the district. So Frederick Douglass High School and Joseph C. Briscoe as a shared campus at the Douglass location. Frederick Douglass is the second oldest school in the US that's continuously served African American students. It originally established in 1883. Western High School, which is, as was said earlier by the students, the oldest all-girls public high school in the US. Baltimore City College, which originally was an all-male school, opened in 1839. And Baltimore Polytechnic, that opened in 1883, are also amongst the oldest high schools in the United States. And then Joseph C. Briscoe is a separate public day school. And so again, another way we're trying to focus on equity across populations, ensuring that students across populations are getting the benefit of these resources. And Briscoe is named for an activist and an educator who was a pioneer in vocational training, and was a powerful advocate for that. And the co-location between Douglass and Briscoe allows our Briscoe students to be able to take advantage of what was once called vocational, and today we call it career technical education programming that would be offered at Douglass. One of the things that have changed in 22 is through refinancing, we were able to pay for the Douglass project out of some remaining 21st century funds. So it'll be paid for out of that budget source. So that's just a difference there. And then we've, through the leadership of Dr. Lynette Washington and Cindy Smith, have been very strategic. We can go to the next slide, in our pushing resources to our school communities across the district. And we look at where we've made major investments, whether it's through 21st Century, Build to Learn, or capital improvement funds. We have a utilization of 92%. That means like families and students are benefiting from these resources. They're attending those schools, they're choosing those schools, they're present in those schools. We're continuing to be creative and pushing that. We still need more. We're still underfunded. We're still fighting for that through Bradford. We're filing an appeal, but we're continuing to advocate for our students. And I think it's important our students know that we want them all to be in 21st century school buildings. Next slide. And so these are some additional projects our facilities team is working on through capital improvement funding. All right. Now let's talk about the annual review. Let's first start with our approach and our strategy. So this strategy was originally developed in 2010, called the Portfolio Strategy. I think often we use the word portfolio, and I think folks think that means a collection of things, but actually it's a specific strategy developed by the Center for Reinventing Public Education that we signed on to in 2010. And the idea of that was to do a review of schools, and based on that review, try to maximize the number of students who were in settings that were really working for them, and moving students out of settings that were not Go to the next slide. And that strategy has 7 sort of key conditions for success, which we adopted. We had started moving in that direction even before we signed on to be a compact district. So having options or school choice, that's a reason why we have choice in our district. It's part of that strategy. It's why we moved to per pupil funding, with the idea of giving more control and decision-making to folks at the school level, having school autonomy, having performance-based accountability for schools, extensive public engagement, multiple sources of support, so not just reliance on the central office for support, and a strong talent seeking strategy. One of the changes we made in 2018-19 in terms of how we're implementing this strategy, especially, as we were nearing the end of, we've selected 21st Century, we had another pot, like how do we support school communities where we still needed to combine? And so part of that work was deepening and looking at how we use investments, leveraging our capital investments, other funding sources, as well as work with partners to solve and to be deeply involved in improving schools.
We use the equity framework that was developed by our Office of Equity. This helps us think through our recommendations and the potential impacts on stakeholders, how we're including stakeholder voices in our process, and any unintended consequences. We've also developed a set of essential questions that guides us in our recommendations and in our process. We know that history matters, and so we consider, what history has brought us to this moment, what our schools represent in their communities, and how we can best learn from those who have lived through the history. We also have a set of guiding principles that guide our work in annual review. First and foremost, as Angela shared, we believe all students in city schools deserve to have a high quality education in healthy facilities that support teaching and learning. That's first and foremost, that guides everything that we do. As I shared earlier, the historical context impacts the current context of our school communities. It's a process that's based in continuous improvement where we make a change, we observe the impacts of that change, and we keep supporting those schools and continually improving. Along those lines, we provide 2 to 3 years of transition support to schools that go through major changes. And that a change should only be made if the conditions for improving the quality of education exist and can be made real. So that's strong leadership, facility capacity for more students and to be improved to support learning, strong partnerships, and alignment of resources. So those kind of conditions have to be present before we'll recommend a change. And then last but not least, the communities that have experienced the most disinvestment and have the most need should be the first communities where we focus investment. So pairing investment where we have to make changes that we know are painful for communities. Franklin Square combined with the pre-K through 5th grade students at Stewart Hill Academic Academy last school year. Their enrollment increased by 27%. They have 416 students this year, not including pre-K. They have more offerings now, both course offerings and extracurricular offerings. They did some strategic staffing, so adding positions and adding people like a math coach, a literacy coach, a reading intervention teacher, a lower grades lead, and a behavior management lead and support person. And then we've made some major facilities improvements in their building. And so our city schools facilities team last year renovated their front office and created a secure vestibule. They have a new health suite. We did painting, new lighting, and floor tile replacement as needed throughout the building. Last year, through CarMax, we were able to build a new Kaboom playground. And the year before that, in 2022, the Heart of America, the Ravens, and the Baltimore Tree Trust created an outdoor classroom area and made improvements to the cafeteria, the gym, the computer lab, and the teacher's lounge. Upcoming improvements to Franklin Square will include a new HVAC system and new windows and doors. Next is Marianne Winterling Elementary School. They combined with Lockerman Bundy Elementary School in school year 2020-21. Their enrollment is 37% higher than it was before they merged with Lockerman Bundy. They have 275 students, not including pre-K. They also greatly increased what they're able to offer students both during the day and in terms of extracurriculars. They have art, vocal music, instrumental music, drama, and physical education. And they maintained the partnership with OrCids that was really important for both schools before they combined. They also did some strategic staffing, adding more positions like 1 teacher per grade level, a librarian, an assistant principal, an educational associate, and an intervention specialist to support their teaching staff. We've also made a lot of facilities improvements in this building, and we're not done yet. We created more classrooms, more office spaces, and small group spaces. We upgraded the lighting. We renovated bathrooms and created a gender-neutral bathroom. Last year, the school auditorium was renamed the Lockerman Bundy Auditorium to preserve the legacies of Joseph Lockerman and Vivian Hall Bundy. This space was very recently renovated through the Maggie McIntosh Art Center grant program, and we're going to be celebrating that at the end of this month. Upcoming city schools facilities improvements include a new outdoor learning space in partnership with the Baltimore Office of Sustainability, and facilities improvements including a new roof.
So this is a smaller set this year, so we have a couple recommendations. One is an amendment to Exhibit 6, and one is a recommendation around combining enclosure. Undergirding this process is that we're looking at schools holistically in order to make recommendations. So understanding not just the academic performance, but what kind of programming schools are able to offer to students, not just the climate indicators, but also what kind of supports are available, what kind of supports that schools have access to, ensuring that we're increasing access, quality, and distribution of school programming across geographies as well as across student populations. That we're looking at school enrollment and school size, building utilization and condition, any actions necessary for implementing the 21st century plan, and operator renewal, where we have 3 schools up for renewal this year. So tonight we're sharing the recommendations that begins the legal process of this. And so there will be a series of hearings and work sessions that come up. So on December 7th, there'll be the operator work session where operators will provide testimony to the board. There'll be a COMOR hearing also on that same night, later that night. And then the second hearing on January 11th, and then the board will make its decision on January 23rd.
So the first recommendation is an amendment to Exhibit 6. Exhibit 6 is a part of the MOU that governs the 21st Century School Buildings Plan. As a part of that plan, we are required by the city and the state to surplus 26 buildings back to the city of Baltimore. So those 26 buildings are what comprises Exhibit 6. As construction needs change and the specific buildings and the timings can change by making amendments to that plan. And so that's the first recommendation is aligned with that. Next slide. Yep. And so this recommendation is to change the surplus date from 2025 to 2026 for the Southeast Middle Building. This is a building where Commodore John Rogers is swinging. They've been there since summer 2023 while their 21st Century building is constructed. Due to construction schedule changes, we're recommending to push the surplus date back by a year to 2026. And this slide just shows some of the building data on the Southeast Middle Building.
All right. So tonight we actually have a recommendation that are coming from 2 school leaders, from Principal Wilson and Principal Carnes, to combine their 2 school communities. If the board approves this, this would take effect for next school year. Part of that recommendation is to combine as a single high school, and so there are middle grade students who, if you approve it, we would support in finding additional middle schools. I'm going to go to the next slide, and I'm going to actually turn it over to Principal Wilson and Principal Carnes to talk about why this recommendation is important and why they brought it forward.
Good evening, everyone. My name is LaWanda Wilson, and I am the proud principal of Bluford Drew Jemison STEM Academy. At the present time, we have a very low enrollment, and so it's been very difficult to really provide really a robust academic programs to my high school students and to the middle school students. Just to give you just a snapshot of some of the struggles, we currently only have one CTE program just due to funding, to the fact that we really cannot afford multiple pathways in CTE programming. I heard earlier someone saying that they had literacy coaches and math coaches. We currently do not have either because, again, due to our budget constraints, we weren't able to support our learners in that way. All of the students in our building have had learning loss because of the pandemic. So not being able to have some of those additional resources greatly impacts the learning at my school. When you're in a really small school, the administrative team has to take on multiple roles during the school day, which can be a bit overwhelming. But also being in a single-sex school, there are lots of benefits to it. But as I've spoken to my my scholars, they want more. They want to be able to have more than just a basic art class, but maybe an art theory class, a ceramics class. My middle schoolers would love to be able to have honors classes. Again, when you have a very small budget and a very small population, it is very difficult to staff for those classes. The last 2 years, this is my second year at Bluford, we have really attempted to give the best programming possible to my boys, but it is very, very difficult. So in conversation with Ms. Alvarez and Principal Carnes, we're all on the same campus, and so we were kind of brainstorming the best approach to ensure not only that my boys receive the great education they deserve, but also to allow Principal Carnes to grow Augusta Fells, and also add different offerings to the Augusta Fells Savage School.
So I just kind of want to echo what Principal Wilson has stated. We share a lot of resources on campus now. For whatever reason, whether it's low staffing on her end, we share classes at times if needed be. We definitely share athletics currently. We're the Southwestern Sabres. We also share expenses as far as activities, events, prom. My school is growing, you know, as you look at the data. We're making a lot of strides with post-secondary opportunities. We're able to offer additional pathways in visual arts. As far as digital media, photography, we were at one point just a visual arts school until I came along. And so just having the ability to increase enrollment, right? You offer more programming, you're able to offer more resources so that kids have access and have availability to change the narrative.
Go to the next slide. Just some additional considerations are on this slide, just to highlight. BDJ, in order to help them just meet those basic requirements that Principal Wilson shared, we have to supplement them. And they, over the last 6 years, gotten anywhere from $500,000 to $775,000. And even with that, it still is not enough to really meet that gap in terms of improving outcomes for students. These schools, like other schools in the district too, have also been supported through ESSER funds that expire at the end of this year. So there's some other context for people to know. We've used ESSER funds in the district to support schools in being able to provide supplemental funds to teachers so they can do after-school programming and tutoring and things like that, to provide stipends for academic supports for middle school students, as well as for athletics for middle school students, to help schools have enough resources to be able to provide laptops to all students, as well as hotspots to students that need them. And those resources sunset this summer. And so schools, like small schools where that may have been filling a vital gap, that's going to go away. Next slide.
So for the middle school students at BDJ, we would support these students and families through a personalized choice process to choose another school for next school year. We've also identified 3 potential receiving schools that have strong programming, strong leaders, and would be welcoming to the BDJ students. The first one is Harlem Park Elementary Middle School, which is actually right next door to where BDJ and Augusta Fells are currently located. This would offer students the opportunity to stay in the same neighborhood, to stay connected to the high school. Harlem Park Elementary Middle School is a community school with Elevate Baltimore as the lead agency. It was in cohort 1 of the intensive literacy sites and offers a variety of after-school sports and programming and extracurricular programs. Next slide. The next potential receiving school is Booker T. Washington Middle School. It's located nearby to where BDJ and Augusta Fells currently are. It offers 5 performing arts pathways, including choral music, instrumental music, visual arts, theater, and dance. It also has additional arts enrichment that's provided by Baltimore Symphony Orchestra and other partners. They are a community school with University of Maryland Promise Heights as the lead agency, and they have an after-school program provided by the Y of Central Maryland. And the last potential receiving middle school is Empowerment Academy. This is a charter school serving students pre-K through 8, also nearby where BDJ is. Last year, they earned an 8-year renewal, which is the highest contract term available for charter operators. They offer honors math in grades 6 and 7 and algebra 1 for 8th grade and honors ELA in grades 6 through 8. And they have a focus on arts integration.
This slide just shows the enrollment, so you can see we're talking about a small number of students in terms of middle school. There are 42, about 30 of which are 6th and 7th graders who need a middle school option for next year. And the next slide. This shows Augusta Fells enrollment over time. So again, helping to increase enrollment would be mutually beneficial for the students and school community. And to the next slide. This just shows where our students are located. So the bluish color are your middle grade students. The orange colors are high school students. So you can see there, many of the students are in proximity to the location of the school. For middle grade students who would, if this is approved, have to choose the other options, the 3 options that we are putting forward are similar distances than what they travel now. So not a big change in distance for students, with empowerment being slightly further than the other 2 options. Families would still have the option to choose other schools, but these are the 3 schools we would go deep with families with. I'm going to pause here just to see if the board has any questions for the 2 school leaders before we move to the next set of recommendations.
Commissioner Nyadebe.
I think to come together to look for a solution to funding problems, et cetera, is admirable when we often find ourselves in positions where people are so separated. This is mine, this is mine. And so I want to applaud the both of you for your efforts and for the strength that you show not to be threatened when it comes to the benefit of our youth. And so I appreciate your efforts, and that's more of a comment than a question. Thank you.
Any other remarks? I give it back to you, Angela.
All right, we're going to get into some operator renewal recommendations. So I have Chief Jones and Trevor Roberts joining me at the table. And have them to state their names again on the record.
Good evening. My name is Trevor Roberts. I'm a specialist in the Office of New Initiatives.
Good evening. I'm Teresa Jones, Chief Achievement and Accountability Officer for the district.
Yep. So just for members of the public, so operator renewal is a routine process for our operator schools. Those are our charter, our contract, and transformation schools. It occurs in the penultimate year of their contract. And so the decision that board will be making on January 23rd is whether to grant that contract a 3-year, which is considered a partial renewal, 5 years, which is considered a full renewal, 8 years, which is an extended renewal that's only available to operators who have had multiple full renewals consecutively and are eligible for a full renewal in the year that they're reviewed, or a non-renewal and possible closure. The process includes looking at 3 key kind of indicators or 3 key areas that are made of multiple both quantitative and qualitative measures: student achievement, school climate, and financial management and governance. Some of the basic undergirding elements of that are the renewal rubric itself. Schools also submit an application with evidence of their success addressing questions related to the 3 key areas. We also provide data tables. Looking at the data, they go through a 2.5-day site visit that is called a school effectiveness review. That review includes observations of classrooms, of artifacts like lesson plans, meeting notes, PD, and focus groups with students, staff, teaching staff, and the operator staff. These are separate focus groups, as well as like parents and other partners. And then the 5 essentials student and teacher survey. We chose that survey because it's predictive of school success. Schools that are strong in 3 of the key areas of that survey have a 10 times more likely chance of improving student outcomes than other schools. And so in a year where we're entering new tests, and we only have 2 years of new tests, the 5E has been important in helping us understand whether or not schools are organized for improvement based on that survey.
The renewal review is a multi-layered process. It starts with the Charter and Operator-Led Schools Advisory Board, which is an internal external stakeholder group whose purpose is to advise the CEO on matters related to charters and other operator-led schools. So they do the first step of the review, looking at the school's applications and all relevant data. They formulate a recommendation that goes to the CEO. The CEO considers that recommendation and also conducts her own administrative review, looking at all qualitative and quantitative factors. And then she makes her recommendation to the board, which we'll be looking at later tonight. The final decision on the renewal recommendations rests with the board. So the board considers a multiple factors in making their decision, the recommendations and rationale of the CEO, the renewal report, testimony given on the public record, and any other content of the official record. Looking at the timeline, schools submitted their renewal applications in early September. The advisory board conducted their review in September and October. They then presented their recommendations to the CEO in October, and we are going to look at those recommendations tonight. There will be an operator work session on December 7th. That will be the operator's opportunity to present to the board directly and to take questions from the board. And the vote will be on January 23rd.
Next slide, please. So this evening, we will present recommendations for 3 schools, the first of which is Baltimore International Academy West. To give a little bit of background about this school opened in 2019 and is a replication of the Baltimore International Academy, which has been in operation since 2007. This particular program or school is operated by Baltimore International Academy Incorporated. It is in the process of expansion of various grades. And so for purposes of this renewal process, we did have to focus on the middle grades data for certain measures. Because of the length of their history, their initial contract term was from 2019 to 2024, and this will be considered their first renewal. Next slide, please. So again, taking a look at the various data and application and other considerations, we now present to you the recommendation based on the ratings in the following categories. For student achievement, there's a developing rating, similarly in the climate category. And then for finance and governance, there is a rating of effective. As a result of this, there is a recommendation for a 3-year renewal for BIA West. A few highlights in terms of their review process. First, we want to note that they received a highly effective rating in English language arts in the middle grades based on their MCAP growth. That placed them at the 81st percentile in the district. And just quickly, I will say, this is noteworthy because when we take a look at growth, we're actually looking at how well students are doing compared to their peers across the state. So to be determined to be in that highly effective category is certainly an accomplishment worth noting. They were also placed in the 66th percentile when it came to math performance. Also, when we take a look at their absolute performance, they were considered developing in English language arts, grade 6 to 8, and not effective in math, grade band 6 to 8. When we take a look at that developing performance, that's an indication that their students are developing learners for that particular subject and have partial proficiency, whereas that not effective rating is representative of students that are at the beginning learner level and indicates that they need substantial academic support to be prepared for the next grade level. When we take a look at their rating in the Fidelity to Charter and Application overall category, they were rated effective, which indicates that the school is delivering on its mission and providing language immersion and international baccalaureate programming as outlined in their charter. We take a look at their performance on the 5 Essential Survey. We note that they were not effective as their results indicated that the school is only partially organized for success. And again, as Angela noted, the 5 Essential Survey has been selected because of its research basis, which indicates that there are 5 indicators that lead to improved outcomes for all students, which includes improved attendance and larger test score gains, and as well as predictive of a school's ability to improve in future years. We take a look at their programming for students with disabilities. They were rated not effective in this area due to the identification of deficiencies in school processes, which indicated that there were student records reviewed during the audit, by which we were not able to confirm that the required services had actually been delivered to those students. Many of these issues were identified to be due to a flawed staffing model, and that has since been rectified with the school.
The next school we're looking at is Green Street Academy. It is operated by Green Street Academy, Inc. It is a middle high school, opened in 2010 as a transformation school and converted to charter in 2014. Go to the next slide, please. The school was rated effective in all 3 areas of the renewal rubric: student achievement, climate, and finance and governance. These ratings lead to the recommendation for a 5-year renewal. Some of the highlights from the review are the school is rated highly effective in 4-year cohort graduation rate with a 95% graduation rate averaged over 3 years. They are effective in college and career readiness in the 78th percentile in the district. This measure looks at indicators of participation and success and readiness for college and career of students, such as participation in AP coursework, dual enrollment, IB, SATs, and whether students are meeting benchmarks of success in those indicators. So we noted that 92% of students were participating in these indicators, with 70% reaching those benchmarks, indicating readiness for college and career. And the other thing we look at in that measure is enrollment in college within 16 months of graduation, where the school had 27% of students enrolled in college. In MCAP growth, they were rated effective in middle grades, being in the 69th percentile in the district, and highly effective in math middle grades at the 91st percentile. They were highly effective in the 5 essential students or 5 essential survey, indicating that they are well organized for improvement in the future. And they did have some issues in some of the climate indicators that we look at, such as suspensions and student attendance and chronic absence. So our review found that while the school did have strategies in place to support students in these areas, their data was not showing that these strategies had yet proven effective.
Thank you, Trevor. Now let's take a look at KIPP Harmony Academy. KIPP Harmony Academy is operated by KIPP Baltimore and initially opened as KIPP Harmony Academy in 2009. It opened as an elementary school and then merged with its sister middle school known as KIPP Ujima Village in 2014 to become a K-8 school. We take a look at their renewal history. They have since their initial contract term received 2 consecutive 5-year renewals. Next slide, please. So looking at the renewals this evening, this school is being recommended for a 3-year renewal based on the ratings in the following categories. For student achievement, they were rated developing, and they were rated effective in both climate and the finance and governance categories. A few highlights for their review in this process includes the effective rating in the fidelity to charter and application overall. Again, that's an indication that the school is indeed delivering on its mission and providing extended support, in this case to alumni through the KIPP Forward program. Among students who took Algebra 1, which is considered advanced programming for the grade level, 71% of them reached the level of proficiency, and that was among the highest rates noted in the district. When we take a look at their growth, they were not effective in MCAP growth in math in the middle grade band 6 to 8. ELA, grade band 4 to 5, as well as math, grade band 4 to 5. And they were developing in English language arts, grade band 6 to 8. And the percentiles are noted here for reference. Again, that growth measure is an indication as to what extent did the school actually improve individual student performance year to year. And that is looked at in comparison to their peers statewide. When we take a look at their performance on the 5 essential survey, they received a not effective rating based on their results indicating that they are partially organized for success. Again, noting that this research-based survey does have indications that help us understand the level of predictability of a school's ability to improve its performance and outcomes for students. We take a look at the climate indicators. They were rated as developing in suspensions as well as for student attendance. Their chronic absence is where they was found to have interventions and strategies in place to support students in these areas, but unfortunately those interventions and strategies have not yet led to the improvement to be reflected in their outcomes. And at this time, I'll turn it back to Ms. Alvarez.
That's all the recommendations. The only thing I want to end with is just thanking all the hard work of the team. There's a full team, multiple departments, and external folks that help support this work. And so we lean a lot on OAA, our facilities team, academics. That's why you should never name because you start forgetting people. But it's a big team, as well as I want to thank our advisory board. Those are volunteers who read a lot. These applications are kind of big. They take a lot of time, and so it takes a lot of work to do that review and to bring their best thinking. I think it's the strength of our process that we have an internal external group that supports this work. And so I just wanted to thank that as well as my team who does work around the clock to meet all the legal requirements that are required for this process.
No, I just wanted to, again, commend the full team, and I think it's important for the board to know and the public to know that Baltimore City Public Schools is recognized regularly for the way that we approach our portfolio work. And I will say that the depth of review that we do is fairly outlier in the world of renewal. Very few other places at either the state or the local level do this in-depth review. And just today, again, while I was in DC, I was approached by someone who said, I hear you guys do like school consolidations and reviews and all of that incredibly well and thoughtfully, and I'd like to speak to you about it. And I said, actually, you need to reach out to Angela Alvarez and the members of this team because they actually do the hard work. And I think you see that here just in terms of the collaboration. So I really want to thank and I, didn't do it earlier, but I really want to thank the team because it would be very easy to let off, the throttle a bit and cut corners, and you all never do. And I think that's part of why, even though I didn't mention it earlier, I think it's incredibly significant. And I use this today as an example that one, we have an 8-year renewal now for charter schools because of our commitment to long-term excellence and opportunities of choice for young people. And I don't think it is significant either that we had 2 principals earlier who had worked together in partnership. And when I related that today, that was coming forward, you should know, Sir Chair, I guess I'm calling you Sir Chair now. Maybe I've been watching too many night movies, but Mr. Chair, I think it's important for you, and yes, that's right, I'll name you. But I think it's important for this board to know and this staff to know that there was little surprise and like jaw dropping, because that's not what's happening across the country. And I think it is because of the thoughtful attention and hard work and being on the ground and not only looking at the numbers, but making sure the numbers are robust, as I think we heard from Chief Jones and others. So I appreciate the pause, sir, to be able to just commend this team for continuing to be an outlier and continue to be recognized nationally for doing very hard work, very heart work in challenging space. And I think it is why we have the robust portfolio that we do. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Santelises. And with that, since I've been on the board, we've introduced the 5 essentials. Can you illuminate that? Because I know that you all have discussed it in your time, in your sessions with commissioners and others, but illuminate that part of the process because this is the first time for several commissioners going through this process, but also for members of, communities. Can you illuminate that 5 essentials survey and its meaningfulness in the process?
Yeah, it's another tool that helps us to understand structurally whether schools have the preconditions for success. It's research backed. It has over 20 years of research, tens and thousands of data from students and teachers and districts. Comes out of University of Chicago. It's the only survey instrument that is predictive of school success. And so it's while we've always looked at surveys, we actually in the beginning of the framework started out with the 5E, and because of funding, we started using more of local instruments. And when we headed into this time where we had less data, felt it was really important to bring it back because it's very insightful and instructive. And it also, for schools that are not, well, both for all schools, but including for schools who are not organized for success, it has a lot of data that tells you what to do as well as resources that can help you improve in those areas. And they're grounded in trust. Like, it's really about, do students feel whole in their schools? Do they feel seen? Do they feel challenged? Do they feel supported? Do teachers feel like their school community support, that they're being rigorous? And so it has that foundational aspect that, you know, we as a district always talk about wholeness and wellness and holistically looking at schools. And the data actually supports that. That is one of the big keys. It's not just about choosing the right math curriculum or doing, that's important, and, you know, having the right techniques, but it's also making sure that students feel safe. Learning is a risky endeavor. Not being correct, like, it's a risk. And so students need to feel safe and seen and actually know that mistakes are why we're here. It is the thing that is the thing, and it's the thing that's a scary thing. And so the 5E gives us, as well as school leaders, that data in a full way that's actionable and insightful for us.
And the one thing that I would add to that is when we initially started using this survey, it was really captured under the climate area of this process, and partly, as Angela indicated, because of some of the transitions that we found in with the other academic indicators, we thought that it was actually meaningful for us to actually include 5 Essentials within the academic component, because it does have that research basis that is directly connected to student outcomes. So it is allowing us to be able to ensure that this process includes quantitative and qualitative data in a way that helps us more comprehensively understand what's happening in schools, both currently as well as, in the case of the 5 Essentials, what their future potential is for continued school improvement.
Thank you. That's helpful. Are there, and I tag that along to what the CEO was mentioning, and the thoughtfulness and the work that you all are putting in to make sure that this is a well thought out process as we're moving forward to review the portfolio. Any commissioner, I see Commissioner Bay, Commissioner Coy. Okay, in that order.
Okay, first of all, well, yeah, I think you're doing a yeoman's job. I think I told you that in Teaching and Learning, that committee. I see so much improvement over the year that I've been here. Right now, this ghost in the schoolyard have to find another graveyard to inhabit, because you're making it so much whole, so much more hopeful for people to have investment because you've invested. I see this investment now that you've put into it, not only on the data side, but on the human side. This has grown to something where the rest of the country does admire you. So I want to thank you for your whole team for such hard work, for continuing to push to make sure that our kids get the best, and yet not letting off the pedal. So thank you very much. I just wanted to tell you that I really appreciate what you all have done.
Yeah, echoing the thanks. My question, and I appreciate that this year is a lighter year in the number that are for renewal, and that they are all being recommended for renewal. When it comes to KIPP Harmony, I'm noting that the recommendation is less than prior years, prior recommendations. Is there anything you want to add to sort of discuss the state of KIPP Harmony and what led to the reduction in what is being recommended?
Yeah, I mean, so it's a data-informed process. And so when you look at the measures, especially when you look at the measures that are underneath there, there's areas for growth. I think KIPP, like the rest of the district, you know, we're coming out of this is a review that's coming out of the pandemic. So we have a lot of students with learning loss. Our school, the work of schools is complex. And so I think our school leaders and our operators, I think we've been lucky in Baltimore to have operators that actually get into the work because they care about kids. We may not always agree on our methods or approaches, but you have people that are committed or trying to do the right thing, but sometimes the things that you do don't work. And so when you look at the results, there's room for growth and improvement. And that's what, 3 years has meant for us, that we just need to look sooner at a school, but we're recommending continuing with the operator. It doesn't mean we don't believe in the operator. We do, but there's challenges there that require checking in sooner to make sure, things get back on track and in the right direction. And I think, they, like many schools, are trying to figure it out in our new context, especially with students having that big disruption coming out of the pandemic.
Anything else at the moment? Thank you. I got you. Thank you. I don't see anyone virtually either with any hands up. So thank you to the team tonight for presenting. And you did give us dates for upcoming processes within, well, upcoming events. And I think that's on slide 45. And so these recommendations have been presented to us. Then there is a work session on December 7th.
And a COMAR hearing on December 7th.
So both are happening the same evening, both the work session and the COMAR hearing December 7th. And it's important that we're there, that commissioners are in attendance for that work session. That's important to our work in reviewing the portfolio. And then we'll vote. Right now, that's scheduled for January 24th.
Yeah, January 23rd. I think there's a typo on that slide. So sorry, I didn't look at so many things. Missed that. But there's also a second hearing on January 11th for the recommendation regarding combining BDJ and Augusta Fells. So.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thanks to the team. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to go back to a procurement item.
Chairman, if I can ask just one question on the schedule. So this year we are expecting to get some of the test results from the state such that the schedule is last year we had a delay.
There
From the
was a
state
delay
side.
last year. Chief Jones, you want to speak to that?
Yes, based on the timing of the results, those have already been reflected in the recommendations that we just presented. And going forward, we should anticipate that we should get the results back on our typical timeline so that we should not have to experience delays.
Thank you. I want to go back to item 20.02 for a clarified vote. I want to pull this again, but I also need Commissioner Muhammad. Or is there a correction to the vote? Commissioner Bay?
Yes, I'd like to correct my vote. I got it confused. Not feeling well. And first of all, I just wanted to preface this by saying the community school effort is one of my biggest pushes. I just was misreading something, but and all the partners, it's everything that I've always talked about, that the community has to be a part of this whole endeavor because education is only a product of community, first and foremost. So I'm going to change that abstention to a yes vote for that particular 20.02. And I apologize. You can take away my harp and my wings tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay. Let the record reflect that item 20.02 is 7 votes in the affirmative with 2 absent. So that, and 1 abstention. Thank you. So 1 abstention, 2 absent, and 7 in the affirmative. So item 20.02 does pass on the consent agenda. Please make sure that the record reflects that. Thank you, Commissioner Coy, for that. The Audit Committee will meet on Friday, November 17th at 2:00 p.m. Operations Committee meets next Tuesday, November 21st at 10:30 a.m. Policy Committee will meet that same day at 4:00 p.m. Operator renewal and Comar session number 1 will occur virtually on Thursday, December 7th at 5:30 p.m. The next executive session of the board will be on Tuesday, December 12th at 3:30. Public meeting, the next public meeting of the board, and the only public meeting, our final public meeting. Yes, that is correct. Of the full board for the calendar year 2023 will be December 12th, that same day. The Operations Committee will meet Tuesday, December 19th at 10:30, and the Policy Committee will meet that same day at 4:00 p.m. Are there any questions about our upcoming meetings or events? Hearing none, I want to remind everyone also that this is American Education Week, and we certainly are very excited to be able to have a part in the work of public education for our young people, particularly here in Baltimore City. So thanks to all of the educators, all of the village members who make our school communities work and thrive, and with the hope to improve and to be better. That's our goal for the sake of our young people and for the sake of the future. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move, Robert.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Is there a second?
Second, Kenyatta Bay.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay. All in favor, please indicate by saying yes.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.